Bodhicharyavattara Rinpoche, Dogi Shor, Pimi Den, Garden Chimbu Goni, Jason De, Kuson Tuji Ngudu Zadu, so. Is it coming? Yeah. So, today, main thing is we are going to do the Bodhisattva vow, and as we a little bit talked about yesterday, the bodhicitta, we need to generate the bodhicitta for that. Actually, bodhicitta is mainly what we usually talk about. Bodhicitta is the compassion. And as I mentioned yesterday, we actually talk about relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. And ultimate bodhicitta is the wisdom. Wisdom means fully experiencing, understanding how I am, how everything is, how our true nature is. Like when we talked about during the, the Ju Lama, like your true nature is Buddha nature. It is it's the way every being is same as that of a fully enlightened being, but we don't recognize it, we don't understand it, so therefore we become what we call we become deceived, or we become defiled and become what we call samsaric. And if we could fully experience and understand it, then actually all these negative things, negative karma, negative habitual tendencies, all this from that point of view can be finished just like this, and suddenly we become, enlightened. And so therefore, that is the realization of ultimate bodhicitta. Then you can, that essence is there in us. We just have to discover that, and that's what we call wisdom. But for most of us, that's not so easy to do, because we are so kind of caught up in this samsaric way of saying things, and how we are and how we feel and how we, we are so much layer after layer of kind of ignorance, all kind of wrong ways of saying, and things like that. So therefore, it's not easy. But eventually, we will do it, and we want to do it, and we want to do it not only for ourselves but for everybody, because we have that capacity, that essence, that that potential. So therefore, sooner or later we will do it, because as it is said sometimes, in some people in politics, you can deceive some people for some time, but you cannot deceive everybody all the time. So that's the same case with the, samsara also. So therefore, then we, to make this intention, motivation, aspiration, that we will work on it. We will not only, liberate or bring that realization and freedom for ourselves, but also help to bring that to everybody, because everybody needs that. Because unless that's done, we will have negative emotions, we will have negative habitual tendencies, we have, confusion and wrong ways of thinking. So therefore, we will keep on creating causes of problems for ourselves and create problems for others, and keep on doing that. So that's not good, that's not necessary, that should not be. So we have to make that effort. So in order to do that, then we generate the relative bodhicitta. That's, that I try to generate compassion, I try to generate aspiration, that I would like to, bring my positive things, my positive way of thinking, positive way of feeling, reduce my negative side, whether it's kind of negative emotions, negative thoughts, or negative actions, negative speech, and then, increase my positive side, especially like compassion and kindness, because as we discussed yesterday, the opposite of most of our negative emotions happens to be compassion. So if we can, feel and generate compassion in ourselves, that will purify and reduce and heal most of our negative emotions. And if we work on it, that will also change our negative habitual tendencies. And not only it will help others, but actually that will bring ourselves, the peace of mind, that will bring, a state of mind which is kind and, clear and also more peaceful and joyful, and because there is nothing negative towards anybody, whether towards others or towards ourselves. So we have to be kind and compassionate towards ourselves. We have to be kind and compassionate towards others. It's not that today we take Bodhisattva and tomorrow we become not like that, but we should start to work like that and start to aspire and increase, and so that is good for me, good for others, good for now, good for all the long term, and that is the most beneficial thing for myself and my future. That's the most beneficial thing for the society in which I live, and that's the most beneficial thing that will bring the best for everybody. So therefore, I should understand that, and then I should start to slowly work on it step by step. And I should do this starting from today. because there's no need to delay, you know. It doesn't mean that we will not become totally, perfect tomorrow, but that doesn't matter. It can take one life, it can take 10 lives, it can take 100 lives, it can take 1,000 lives, it can take, kalpas. Doesn't matter, but we will start to do that. And when we make a decision like that I will work on it, then it's the starting. When you start, then also lots of, it will create all the positive, positive elements also together. We receive also blessings, we receive all the positive qualities and positive energies also come together. It's also a good protection for ourselves, good accumulation of merit for ourselves. It's also purification for ourselves. From Buddhist point of view, compassion is the strongest purification and strongest accumulation. So, when we take the Bodhisattva's vows, some people think it's too much a responsibility, because how can I, promise to work for the benefit of all the sentient beings? And it is very heavy, heavy responsibility. Yes, it's a very heavy responsibility. Not only that, but it is almost impossible, because even to help one or two people is not easy. Sometimes we cannot even help our own family members, and things like that. But, how much responsibility, heavy or not, depends also on our way of seeing. It depends on our, expectation. What we do is that I would like, I want, I know that it's good that everybody be free from the causes and result of all kind of pain, problem, and suffering. Because I don't want suffering, I don't want pain, I don't want problem. I know that none of you want to have pain, problem, suffering, and none of the people, in the world want that. So everybody is, really wishing to free themselves from suffering, pain, problem. And I want to have, the happiness, joy, well-being, the best for myself. And that also, not just for a short time, but all the time. In the same way, everybody wants that. There's nobody who doesn't want to have happiness, joy, all the well-beings, the best for themselves, and not just for a short time, but for all the time. So why should I not wish that happen to everybody? Because if I wish that, nothing, I don't lose anything. If I can help in some way, that's good. If I can't help, that's also okay. So, if I make that I really wish that, I wish the best thing for everybody, including myself, and I wish everybody to be free from all the problems, and towards that end, I will do, even if it is just a genuine prayer. If I cannot make anything else but a genuine wish or genuine prayer, I'll do that. If I can do a little more, I will do that. If not, that's okay. So if I have that understanding, there's nothing heavy on me. No? And if I don't, if I say that I wish all good for everybody, then will I not feel angry with somebody? Will I not have, hatred to somebody? If I not feel bad with somebody? Of course we will. We are not, we are not perfect. We are beginners. We are just simple human beings, samsaric beings. Why not? We have negative emotions. We have negative habitual tendencies. We'll have, we sometimes do negative actions. But, we know that that's not good. We know that if we do negative things, negative emotions, negative, actions, that is not good for me, that's not good for others. So, I will, as much as possible, try to work on, try to train myself, try to, reduce doing negative things and increase positive intentions, positive aspiration, and kindness and compassion. And that, as much as I can do, I will do, and that's good for me and good for others. I will try that. I cannot be perfect before I start to do that. If I'm waiting for, now I'm not ready to become a bodhisattva, maybe next year. Next year you'll find that you are not much better. Same thing after 50 years maybe, So why not start today? At least, because also we never know how long we'll live. So therefore, there's nothing wrong starting today. Not as a great bodhisattva, perfect bodhisattva, but totally beginning bodhisattva, at least with some good intentions. And I don't promise to do anything specific. I don't say that I will liberate, 10 people today and 20 people tomorrow. That's not like that, I just do my level best, I will do whatever is good for me and good for everybody. I don't need to sacrifice everything that I have and then, not like that. That's not, I just train step by step. So therefore, I think, some people say that, you have to, or to take bodhisattva vows, first you have to prepare yourself. Maybe, but I don't think it's necessary. We take it, doesn't matter. We don't have to be, perfect. We don't have to be so highly prepared, because any kind of preparation is not good enough. So therefore, we just start from where we are. And if we do that, then anything we do, it becomes a bodhisattva's training, bodhisattva's action, bodhisattva's. At least we have an identity of bodhisattva, which is good. If I feel something like angry or upset or something, I want to. Then I say, not now. Not now. I'm a bodhisattva. First I give back the bodhisattva, and then I come in. But after when you go for the bodhisattva, to give back the bodhisattva, you have changed your mind. You don't want to. Most of the vows has that, that what can you say? That good effect, You say, I've made this vow. Unless I give it back, I should not do it. Yes, I will give it back definitely, because I really want to punch him. And then I go to give it back. By the time I come back, I've changed my mind, because all emotions are like that. All emotions are temporary. If you delay a little bit, you change your mind. You don't want to do it. Look here. He looks so nice. Why should I punch him? Maybe he did something not so good, but I also do those things, so why things like that, So anyway, that way then, different things, small things. This is, it's usually said to be small things is most important. Small good things. Sometimes, this is a very small positive thing. That doesn't matter. I don't need to do that. But actually, if we do small good things, small good habits, that will make me progress in a good way. Small bad things, small negative things, as I keep on doing, I say it's nothing wrong, it's just a little bit small thing. Then it piles up, and then at some time I will become totally negative. Yeah. So, training is that, doing small things. Small, that's not so important. Not negative things, I try to let go. Positive things, I try to do, or think, or feel, or things like that. If I do that, then it kind of piles up, like drops become oceans, So that's how we train, training is just that. There's nothing else. So therefore, we just said that in front of all the enlightened beings, all the great beings, when we are talking about enlightened beings, we are not talking about Buddhist enlightened beings. This is very important to understand, because many people have the feeling that, when Buddhists talk about something like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we are talking about only Buddhist Buddhas and Buddhist Bodhisattvas. From Buddhist point of view, there's nothing called Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Anybody who wants to, who has that compassion and who has that wisdom and who wants to help people, they are bodhisattvas. They are bodhisattvas. That bodhisattva can be, can be a Buddhist, can be a Christian, can be a Muslim, can be Jewish, can be communist, can be anybody. Can be man, can be woman, can be, any color, white, red, yellow, blue, green, whatever, can be animals, can be non-humans, can be spirits, can be anybody. So therefore, there are lots of bodhisattvas everywhere. Maybe among us also. Maybe. I'm sure there are. I'm sure he is one. He is, of course, one. He is the president of Buddhist Union. And if he's not a bodhisattva, then who would be? But maybe sometimes the bodhisattva, somebody who we expect the least, also sometimes, so it's like that, and anyway, we try to do that way, and if we do that way, then there's nothing, it's a responsibility is not like a heavy thing. It's, that's the way it is. That's the way we should be doing anyway. We should be kind to ourselves, and we should be kind to everybody. Why not? Because being not kind is not good for us, not good for anybody. Because if I am angry and upset and feeling all sorts of negative things, the worst sufferer is myself, because my mind is disturbed. And when my mind is disturbed, I am unhappy, and that's what I don't want. But most of the time we think that I have the right to be angry. Why should I not be angry? Of course you have right to be angry, but what does it help you? Many times it's like that. Many people say, I have a right to be angry. Of course, everybody has a right to be angry if you want to, but does it really help you? Because when you are angry, you become unhappy, you become disturbed. Your mind is, you will never say that this morning I had such a wonderful time, I was so angry, No? And also it doesn't really do any good, If I'm angry and then I say something bad about somebody, or I, punch somebody's face or something like that, that doesn't solve the problem. That creates more problem, because that person will come and punch me too, Then I have a broken bone. I'm not that strong in my hands, Then my friends will go and beat him more, and then his friends will come also and beat us all. That's how the wars happen, all the conflicts happen. And then you can never end a war or a conflict without first accepting that, well, we stop that. We just have to stop. And when we have stopped, then all this effort that we made to harm each other, why? Absolutely useless. So therefore, it's completely, completely senseless and useless. So therefore, we try to work on that, we try to improve that. It's good for everybody, for the society, it's good for, So therefore, we try to little bit work on that. That's the whole point. So therefore, then we feel that in front of us, when you take the Bodhisattva, we feel that in front of us, in the air or in everywhere, all the great Bodhisattvas and all the Buddhas, enlightened beings of any kind is there. And in front of them, then I make this, this promise. I say, I take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, because that's the Buddhist way. And then I say that, as the Buddhas of the past, enlightened beings of the past, generated this kind of wonderful aspiration or the motivation of bodhicitta, and then trained themselves on the path of bodhisattvas, step by step and gradually. So I also would like to generate the bodhicitta and train myself on the path step by step and gradually. So when I say this, kind of with a genuine feeling, actually in one way I'm inviting everybody, all the beings throughout space, for the complete liberation, for the complete happiness. I will bring all of them to that end eventually. That's what I promise. I promise the best to everybody in the end. And towards that, I promise to train myself on that. And then usually we make, the 7-branch practice. Means like, from Buddhist point of view, if we do something big, if we start something, a project, a better project, a big project, in the beginning, if we make some positive actions, then that will help to make this project become successful. So therefore, we do this 7-branch practice. 7-branch practice is what we call the way to accumulate positive karma. The 7-branch practice is, making homage or prostrations, making homage to great beings. That's one. Why homage to great beings is good, important? Because if they are good people or great people or positive people, and if we respect them, if we show respect to them, that means we like to follow their footsteps. We respect. If you show respect, that means I like that. I support that. I follow that. So homage is actually making respect, showing respect. So that's why, what we call prostration is also that. That's one. Second is making offerings. Offering is giving, You can make offerings of things, offerings of anything, food and drink and, anything positive, nice things of offering. But also offering of, your own positive actions. Offering of, say like enlightened beings, what they really want is helping everybody. So if I can do some positive action, that would be the best offering. Or if you actually improve yourself, that's also a great offering. So things like that, offering. Then to purification, is also positive action. This is the third one of the 7 practices. Purification means that all the kind of, if I did some negative actions, or if I have some negative thoughts or, negative things, and I say that this is not good, this is not useful, this is not good for me and not good for others. So therefore, if I did something negative, I let it go. I will not hold on to that. Or if something negative happened to me, I don't hold on to it. I let it go. And I try not to do this anymore, but do something more positive. So if I say this, if I do this, I am purifying myself. So that's one positive action. Then another positive action is rejoicing. Rejoicing means it's the opposite of envy. Like if somebody did something good or achieved something good or have something good, then I am very happy. Opposite of our usual way, if somebody has something good, I feel bad, My neighbor has a nice car, why he has such an expensive car, Then it doesn't benefit you, but you feel bad. Why should I feel bad because he has a good car? And I dirty my mind. I make myself worse. But if I rejoice, my neighbor has a beautiful car. Oh, it's so good, it's so nice, it's so wonderful that he has a nice car. I feel happy. And he is happy. If I tell him, he knows that I'm happy, he's also happy, I'm also happy, and then he might like to give me a lift. That's better, no? And then I also accumulate my own positive deeds because, I supported, I rejoiced at something good that happened. So therefore, then requesting, teachings or guidance or instructions from wise people, because the only way that we can learn is we learn from people who know. And how do we learn from people who know? By requesting them to teach and listening to their guidance. So therefore, requesting for teachings is regarded as, especially, requesting from teachings, not people who don't know anything, but know somebody wise people. Then we call it requesting good people, great people, positive people to live long. In our history of human beings, what we have been doing, if you look into the history, we will find it very easily. We have been killing the living saints and worshipping the dead ones. No? Most of the time it's like that. And we should not do that. That's the idea. We should appreciate positive beings. We should appreciate good beings. We should appreciate, kind and compassionate and, and want them, wish them, and make any kind of anything that we can do, except if it is nothing more than asking them to live among us, to be long live among us, because we need positive people, we need good people, we need kind people, we need wise people. The more wise people and kind people and compassionate people there are in our society, the better our society will become, the better every one of us will become. So, requesting people to live, great people, good people, to be among ourselves. And then seventh, what we call dedication, which is kind of a special thing in Buddhism. This dedication is that whatever positive karma we get, or we gather, or positive actions that we gather, positive accumulations or positive things, we dedicate it, we distribute it, we give it to others. That is supposed to be a very good way of ensuring that this good karma becomes, what can you say, not wasted. Otherwise, from Buddhist point of view, if I did something good, I did really nice thing, very good thing, positive thing today, and then at the end of it, I did something bad, I was angry, upset, frustrated and things like that, I could destroy that positive deed. I did the positive deed, but then, I did something negative and that would, But before I do that, before I destroy the negative deed, I say, whatever positive things that I have accumulated, all the result of that, I give it to everybody, all the sentient beings, so that they get it, they encash it in future. I will deposit in the fixed deposit, so that so if I can say that deeply from my heart, then it is said that positive deed will never be wasted, even if I do lots of bad things. So therefore, it's something that to ensure that my good deeds are secure, and also it keeps on, multiplying, because I've given that to everybody, so therefore, I made it not only for myself, but for everybody, so therefore, it is multiplied by the number of people. So therefore, it's a very skillful way of, multiplying our positive deeds. So this is called dedication. So we do these 7 things, and then we take the Bodhisattva vow. And then, so now this, you can do it in a long way, you can do it in a short way. So maybe we do it in the short way. Because there's only, all these, there are 2 ways of taking Bodhisattva vow. One is the Asanga way, that with, the text that we did, the Ju Lama, Uttaratanta Shastra, that Asanga, his way of taking Bodhisattva vow. It's a quite elaborate one, very long one. It takes whole day. And then there is a Shantideva way, which is called Manjushri way. That's a short way. It's a kind of, can take it in 10 minutes or even less. We do it the Manjushri way, the short one. This Bodhicharyavattara way. All the text is based on that. So there it's only, you can do it long, but you can do it short also. So let's do the short one. So you just repeat after me in Tibetan. But your pronunciation has to be right. Doesn't matter. For Tibetans it doesn't matter, because they never pronounce the Sanskrit mantras in the right way. But they think it works. I don't want to tell the story. You know, this great Indian Pandit came to Tibet, was invited to Tibet, called Atish Dipankara. And he heard the Tibetans reciting mantras, and he said, it doesn't work, it's totally wrong. And then one day he had a problem with his throat, something inside, some infection came in. And he was really suffering, and he was, not able to eat, and, very bad. And then somebody said, there is one Tibetan who really, helps people with mantras. Should we invite him? He said, no, Tibetan mantra, I don't believe. He says, but really he helps lots of people. He said, okay, you bring him, but, it wouldn't, I don't think it will help. So then they brought this Tibetan person who was doing mantras. So he's sitting in front of the great master, and he was reciting his mantras. He was reciting his mantras so wrong that Atish Dipankara could not help but laugh, Although it was a pain, he had to laugh, and he laughed and laughed, and then the thing here, there was kind of something, and it burst, and all this pus and all this thing came out, and he got well. Then he said, okay, I accept it, it has something. So, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just being foolish, stupid. Okay. Shāchal Watang, Chūching, Hyakpatang, Jesu Iran, Kulking, Solwayi, Gewa, Chungze, Daki, Chisapa. What is that? Tamche, Daki, Sangchup, Chembor, Ngo. Okay. Now we do the refuge, also, and together with the Bodhisattva's vows. So what we say first is, until I attain enlightenment, I take refuge in Buddha and the Dharma and Sangha. And then you say, as Buddhas of the past generated bodhicitta, and they trained on the path of bodhisattva step by step and gradually. So in order to benefit all beings, I will also generate bodhicitta and train on these precepts step by step. Sangchup, Ningpur, Chijepar, Sangje, Namla, Japsunchi, Chudang, Sangchup, Senpai, Cholang, Tegin, Japsunchi, Chetar, Nguyenji, Deshichi, Sangchup, tukni jebadang, zhangshuk, sembe, lapala, teda, rimyin, nepatar, tejin, dola, pendundu, zhangshuk, semne, jejishin, tejin, duni, lapalang, rimba, yindu, laparje. So we do it 3 times. So for second time, Sangchup, Ningbol, Chijipar, Sangje, Namla, Japsuchi, Chudang, Sangchup, Senpai, Cholang, Tejin, Japsuchi, Chitar, Nguyenji, Dekheji, Sangchup, Tukni, Jebadang, Sangchup, Sembe, Lapala, Teda, Rimyin, Nepatar, Tejin, Dola, Pendundu, Sangchup, Semni, Jejishin, Tejin, Duni, Lapalang, Rimba, Yindu, Laparji. Now we do the 3rd time, and at the end of the 3rd time, then you feel that you have become a bodhisattva, a warrior of compassion. Sangchup, Ningbor, Chijipar, Sangje, Namla, Japsuchi, Chudang, Sangchup, Senpai, Cholang, Tejin, Japsuchi, Chitar, Nguyenji, Dekheji, Sangchup, Tukni, Jebadang, Sangchup, Sembe, Lapala, Teda, Rimyin, Nepatar, Tejin, Dola, Pendundu, Sangchup, Semni, Jejishin, Tejin, Duni, Lapalang, Rimpa, Yindu, Laparju. So with that, we feel that we have joined all the great wise and compassionate beings, the force of bodhisattvas, and we have started on the journey of the bodhisattva's path. So therefore, we rejoice at that. So what we feel, what we say is, today my life has given fruit. This human state has now been well assumed. Today I take my birth in Buddha's line and have become the Buddha's heir or child. So what you mean to say is that, that we are human beings, and so we have to make this life meaningful. And if you want to make this life meaningful, we have to do something that is worthwhile. So at least we have started to train on a path which is meant to benefit all the beings throughout the space, and to try to, bring all of them out of suffering and, the highest well-being. Then there can't be anything better than that. So therefore, I feel we all feel that by taking this Bodhisattva's vow, we made this life meaningful. So this is written in Tibetan. Tindu datsin diviyu, mei sepa leparto, terin sonji reshi, sonji sesa datinchir. Tani doki chini chung, ridun tumbi le zamde, shumi tumbi rindala, nyuparmanje tetash. So in every way, then I will undertake activities befitting such a rank, and I will do no act to mar or compromise this high and faultless lineage. So I would like to make, this practice, this life, as good as possible. So I'm just reading some passages from here. For I am like a blind man who has found a precious gem inside a heap of dust. For so it is, by some strange chance, the bodhicitta has been born in me. To have that kind of a bodhicitta, little bit feeling inside me, is very good. It's so fortunate, it's so wonderful, because most people don't have that, and so therefore it is something like finding a most precious gem in a big heap of dust, and that also not just by somebody who has lots of clear eyes, but is blind. It's that good or that auspicious. And not only that I rejoice, but I request all others also to rejoice. The Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the enlightened beings, and all the the positive spirits and things like that who know that what I am doing, because I am today in front of all the great beings, kind of inviting all the sentient beings for the for highest happiness and lasting peace. So therefore, everybody who wishes that to happen, everybody who has compassion, who wishes good things for the people, should also rejoice this instant that I am taking my Bodhisattva's vows. So then we make the dedication that Shanchu Sene Rinpoche, Mashi Panam Shejurje, Shiva Nyamba Meba, Goni Gundu Pewara Shu, Shanchu Sendo Mandalaki, Shanchu Shula Shulwa, Sonji Namji Yonzunki, Dijin Lina Pawara Shu, Shanchu Semba Namji, Doden Tula Gundu Kyon, Gumbo Yine Gongova, Senchen Namla Tenjur Shu, Senchen Tamji, Delon Danger. Niendro Tangje Tadu Tombarikyo, Shunchu Semba Konda Sakyu Patela Kanji. Melon de Bararikyo, Senchen Tamje, Deva Tong, Devi Jutan, Dembara Chichi, Dungal Tong, Dungal Chichu, Tawari Chichi, Dungal Mebe, Deva Tamba, Mindawa Juji, Nyeri Chadon Don Drive, Tonyam Chembo, Debora Juji. So that's we dedicate in the best way possible, and that's the Bodhisattva's vow, and I think we should stop there. I feel like telling a story, but maybe I should not.
Même si j'aurais vraiment envie de vous raconter encore une histoire.
Because sometimes when you feel that you are you want to be kind, you don't want to be compassionate, you want to be a bodhisattva, then you want to help. But it's not easy to help, and then you get frustrated. Yeah? And I think that's called what? There's a word for that. Lots of doctors happen that, So that should not happen, We should not expect too much from ourselves. We should not be too enthusiastic also. That's very important. We should do our best, but then sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't help. If it doesn't help, it's okay. If it helps, even a little bit, it's very good. We have to have this understanding. There was this story I wanted to tell. Was a very bad story. There was a bodhisattva, and he took bodhisattva, and he took very seriously, that bodhisattva. And then he was a rich man. He was a very rich man. And he said, I have become a bodhisattva now. I give everything what everybody wants. If anybody wants anything, come and ask me, and if I have, I will give. I promise that I will not say no to anybody if it is something that I have. So he became very, very famous. So people came from all parts of the world, parts of cultures, and asked him, I want this, I want that, and he just keep on giving everything, And then after some time, then one man came, and he was like on his, walking stick, looking a little bit strange. He had a long nose with many bands on. And then he said, is it true that you give anything that you want? We ask. Yes, if it is something that I have, I give. Then he said, can you please give me your right hand? So he had no doubt. He took a sword, cut his right hand, and gave it. Now this man said, but I don't take gifts given with the left hand. Yeah? How can you give with right hand when you are giving your right? And this bodhisattva said, I'm fed up. These people can never be helped. It's useless to try to help. How can, he got totally fed up, and he said, no more this bodhisattva business. There are people like that. Yeah? So therefore, it's not necessary that we can do everything, we can help everybody, but because there are people like that. But that doesn't mean that we should lose our bodhicitta. We should feel that we should not become kind and compassionate and helpful, because being kind and compassionate is not only good for others, it's good for me and myself also more. So, no need to expect too much. And then it's okay. That's it. Tamji zubanye toni nyebe rana banje chega nanji wala juba sube sole rowa Thank you very much.